amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It is time for your daily English extravaganza. It's the show with no name on Vaughn Radio, and you can bet your apostarlo todo. We are going to have a blast as we laugh and learn on today's show. So, without any further ado, I think you know what time it is. Get ready for liftoff.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Here we go.
Liftoff.
Come on.
30 minutes after the hour.
Let's get this thing off the ground, folks. We've got a lot of stuff to go on today's show. Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. And get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time. On Vaughn Radio. It's a show with no name. On Vaughn Radio. Let's go. That's right, folks. This is the show with no name, where English is exciting. This isn't your everyday English show. Everyday es cotidiano, una sola palabra cuando es el adjetivo. Cuando es everyday, cada día, pues piénsalo así, como en español son dos palabras. Every day. I do the show every day. But that's not what I was saying. I was saying this isn't your everyday English show. Your everyday English class. Another way to say that, which we learned recently, this isn't your run-of-the-mill. Do you remember this adjective? Una de la fábrica, ¿no? Que sale de la fábrica. This isn't your run-of-the-mill English program. Why? Well, because you can interact, you can play along, and even though we look at the present perfect continuous, the verb to be, the conditionals, and all that jazz, everything that is the language, we don't really talk about grammar. We just use it. We explain it, but there's not much to talk about. We say it like that. Repeat after me. I remember a lot of times students fighting me a little bit, like, well, I don't like to say it like that. I'm like, well, we don't have a choice. I said, I didn't make that decision. I've had students take it out on me and be like, Alberto, but why? In Spanish, we say tener razón, not to be right. I'm like, yeah, that's why I'm telling you. Because I can see how you might be tempted to say you have the reason when you really want to say you're right. And I know it, as I said, because if you flip the script, si le das la vuelta a la tortilla, I was going to say I was, but I still am in your shoes. I'm always learning things in Spanish, and I realized at a young age that most of the biggest mistakes that people make are from literal translations. And I didn't notice it because of my students. I noticed it in my own context. I think I told you guys, I walked around for about maybe 15 years telling ladies, men, and whoever would listen that I'm horny, 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 horny tonight. Now I'm horny, 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 horny. Do you know what that means, right? Horny, como cuerno, horn, con Y, cachondo. Yeah, well, that's what in Spanish, if you say estoy caliente, you're not saying tengo calor. You see, so, yeah, that's right. So I'm the first one, or tengo tantos años. I used to say, soy 15. No, not soy, I am 15. In Spanish, it's tengo 15. So anybody who's ever learned a language, I think, can put themselves in your shoes. And then I think it's what we always talk about. It's the way you look at your mistakes. Do you look at them like, oh, I'm never going to get this? This sucks, in like a pessimistic kind of way, which is understandable. It happens, right? Sometimes you feel like, oh man, but, or are we going to look at it like, listen, the more mistakes I make, the better I'm going to get at this, the faster, right? You know, if I make a lot of mistakes and my teacher corrects me, well, then I'm leaving my comfort zone and I'm making progress. And I insist, the higher your level, the harder it is to make progress, because then you got to work on really like nuances, matices, right? These little details that really make the difference. You know, I can always tell a native speaker a lot of times by not their accent. Maybe they've got the accent down pat. Some people are just really good at, imitating a British accent or something, and they're really Dutch or something. But the moment I know is those prepositions. Oh man, esas preposiciones, that in, if you use an in where there should be an at, it just sounds weird. So, as I said, it gets harder, but we try to make it easy. We try to make it fun, not just here on the show with no name, but on all the programs you'll hear on Vaughn Radio. Remember, download our free app and you can learn English with me and all of my friends. And I mean that. My closest friends are Kyle, Rob, Fitz. This is my circle, Andy, Vaughn. So, when I say listen to them, I listen to them. Think about it. We send each other messages. We hang out when we're not working. So, and speaking of hanging out when we're not working, folks, it is official. It is right around the corner. It is our upcoming Vaughn Radio Trivia Night. It's going to be hosted by Fitz, a great friend of ours, the host of No Excuses, our teacher trainer here at Vaughn. And it's going to be an amazing evening. We're all looking forward to it. As Rob said in our WhatsApp group, I'll be there. I think it was Rob, or maybe it was Chris, who said, I'll be there with bells on. Okay. And guess who I instantly thought of? You guys, right? I'm like, ellos saben, mis alumnos se saben esa expresión. Porque claro, es un grupo de nativos, it's teachers, it's, radio presenters. So, people who were born in an English-speaking country and studied and went to high school and all that in an English-speaking country. So a lot of times, they'll say a totally native, as we call it here, and I'll think of you guys, I'll be like, oh, my students would understand that one. So awesome stuff, guys. I'm glad you joined us, and I'm glad you're ready to rock, because it's time for our first challenge of the day. It's the Say What soundbite. Say what? What? Yes, 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 yes. Say what, say what, say what, say what. Yes. That's right, folks. All right, well, let's take a look at today's Say What soundbite. I think it's going to be an easy one, judging it on all the other ones we've looked at. Also, a quick reminder, if you want to practice your speaking, and I don't know why you wouldn't, think about that. If you need, let me say it this way, it's how I word it. If you need to practice your speaking, and who doesn't, again, even me in Spanish, well, you can do that with us every single week here on the show with no name. Let me help you. Yeah. I think that's what we've been doing, right? Helping each other. You guys, even when I make a mistake in Spanish, which I do, and I welcome them, you guys are the first ones to say, hey, Alberto, you said it a little bit wrong. So I appreciate that. And again, it's all about the way you look at your mistakes. Do you look at them as failures, or do you look at them as an opportunity to identify, to pinpoint, como sabéis esa palabra, where you need to work a little bit harder, what you need to review. It's a blessing, a godsend. Make mistakes, make them every day. That means you're leaving your comfort zone, and that's a wonderful thing. So, this week's question of the week. Oh, and by the way, the first one to get it in this week, he is hooked. Alberto. Great job, Alberto. It seems like he's made it a New Year's resolution to participate and improve his speaking here with us every Friday. So if you'd like to participate, and you should, you can send me a 1-minute voice note. You can record it on your phone, just like when you record a voice note for your friends over WhatsApp. Same thing. And you can send it to my email address. Jot this down. alonso@grupovon.com. alonso@grupovon.com. And it's a great opportunity, not just to practice speaking, but to receive feedback, right? Especially, let's say, for example, you say the word example or execute, and you say execute or excited. Pues, y yo te digo, no es excited, it's excited. Hay una K fuerte ahí, right? Excited, ecstatic, right? So if you know that, then the good news is, if you're a smart student, and I know you are, what you're going to do is look at other words. Por ejemplo, el hable libre también. If you said vegetable, eso solo me dice que tienes que practicar, y te debería decir a ti que solo tienes que practicar esa terminación ible hable, que al final, you guys know how to say it, right? A bull, un toro. That's how I always teach it. Let's say a few words. Responsable, responsible, a bull, right? Say it with me. Muy importante que repitamos, I think you say. It's really important that we repeat it aloud, okay? Respetable, respectable, horrible, horrible. His performance was horrible. Delicioso. Delectable. Increíble. Incredible. And I think we already said it. Responsable. Let's say that one more time, because I've heard a lot of people say responsable, right? Responsible. So predictable, predecible. So that's what I want you to do. If I correct a certain kind of structure or pattern that can be found, that's your cue, tu pie, para buscar más palabras y practicar eso. And the next time you have to say one of those words, not just that specific word, you'll be aware. So guys, what am I getting at? Participate. If you have participated, keep up the great work. I am truly impressed. We've got a lot of people participating. I'm glad to see the guys. Hey, for a long time, it was a female-dominated sport. Nothing wrong with that. But, we're equal opportunity here, so we want the fellas to participate as well. So participate along with Alberto and all of us who participate regularly every Friday. And this week's is, how do you get away from somebody who's annoying? Okay, or how do you get out of a conversation with somebody who is annoying, who is being rude, right? How do you end a conversation that needs to be ended? And the idea here is politely, diplomatically, because you can always say, Tío, vete a tomar por saco, por favor. Get the fuck out of here. You're pissing me off. That's always an option. But let's go in this one for a diplomatic way of doing it. Let's say it's a coworker or a friend of a friend that's just, you guys, hey, sometimes you just don't get along with people. It's your energies don't mix. No big deal. So how do you get away from somebody, or somebody maybe giving you a bad vibe, or somebody's just, they smell, they're up in your face? I hate when people are close talkers. They get right up in your face and they're like, oh, and you're like, I don't need to smell what you had for lunch in order to hear you. I can't take that. I have to be honest. When it comes to personal space, I respect it, and I want people to respect mine as well. Obviously, that's a cultural thing too. I must say, and I am generalizing, that Spanish people, you guys get up close to each other, but also that says a lot about your culture, right? You guys are people who get close. So tenéis esa cercanía. It's excellent. It's awesome. But Americans are more like, oh, don't get too close to me. And let's not even talk about Asians. Again, there are exceptions in each place. And this is not a generalization that I somehow made up. This is something, that people say. Guiris that I know here, like, wow, Spanish people get really up in your face when they talk to you. I'm like, well, they want to get their point across, And Americans do if you compare them to British people. Or if you compare them to Asians in general, they like to keep their, Japanese, I can tell you from experience, your space is your space and nobody violates that. So any of those circumstances, somebody is just not rubbing you the right way. No te está dando buena energía, no? Right? To rub, decimos, if somebody rubs you the right way. De hecho, anybody catch it in the song? I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Gotta rub me the right way, honey. I'm a genie in a bottle, baby. Come on and let me out. Now, I don't have to tell you what that double meaning of come as well. Christina Aguilera. Oh, hey, sex sells. And the record industry, nobody knows that more than the music industry, of course. So, my amigos, participate. Keep it at around a minute. You can do a little less, a little more, But if you do 2 minutes, just think if everybody does 2 minutes, and we normally have 8, so 16 people, 16 minutes. If everybody does 2 minutes, then we lose a couple sections there. And it's not just 16 minutes, because I also like to, pause and talk about what each person has said as well. So we save a little bit of time that way. And as you know, time is of the essence. So let me give you today's Say What soundbite. But please, if you've never done it before, send us that voice note and don't be ashamed. No te avergüences. I don't know if I said that right. Don't be ashamed. Do it. Do it, because nobody is going to laugh at you. In fact, quite the contrary. We're going to support you. We're going to root for you. To root for somebody is apoyar. Come on, you got it. You got it. So do it, folks. It's question of the week. It is a once in a lifetime opportunity that you have every week to get some coaching on your English speaking and to get practice. As I always say, what's the best way to really get good at something? Doing it. You want to be a better reader? Read more. You want to be a better singer? Sing more. Okay? You want to be a better English speaker? Do I have to tell you the rest? I think you know where I'm going with this one. So, my amigos, awesome stuff. I look forward to hearing from you all on Friday. Remember, send it to me before the end of the day on Thursday because, well, Friday mornings are hectic, as you know, and it's better to have everything in my soundboard and, ready to go. So I don't have to worry about the tech stuff and I can focus on teaching you guys, which is the most important part. Oh, well, the tech is important too. Si no se graba, it's not right. So it is important, but it's the part that I like the least. I love the teaching part. All right. So, as always, in our Say What soundbite, I'm going to play this clip for you 4 times. As I said earlier, I don't think it's too difficult. We shall see. So, everybody listen carefully, and here's your Say What soundbite for the first time.
Well, it starts as a disconnection, right? It's a father that really hasn't ever met his daughter, comes to her as this sort of, we later understand, somewhat failed magician.
All right, there you go, folks. Pretty clear, right? All right, let's move on to today's pop quiz. Come on. More challenges. I hope you're ready. I've got a lot of them up my sleeve. En la manga. Quiz. Get up. I hope you're excited. Quiz. Y que pones el sonido acá. Excited. Yeah. I am. Let's go. Yes. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. All right, folks, it is your pop quiz. All right, well, we are going to listen to a little excerpt from my first book, my baby, English Everywhere. So everybody listen carefully because I'll have a couple questions afterwards. English Everywhere. All right, today we're going to the library. So, shh, hush up. Don't make a lot of noise, guys. Yeah, because people are studying. Yeah, people are studying. They're working hard. Maybe they're working on term papers. Maybe they're just researching stuff. But either way, we don't want to bother them. No queremos molestarles. So keep it quiet. Hush up. Button your lip because we're going into the library now. All right. Well, I've decided to come with a friend of mine because we were going to check up and make sure that his book is on the shelves over here and make sure that you can take it out at your local library. Not only buy it at baugantienda.com and wherever fine books are sold. So I've called an author to come here and help me, a friend of mine, and he's Kyle Miller. What's up, Kyle? How's it going?
Hey, Alberto, how you doing? Yeah.
Okay, man. All right.
I'm kind of anxious to see if my book is in here.
I imagine it'll be on the shelves, maybe in the English section. I'm not sure, but we're going to look around.
All right.
Vamos a echar un vistazo, and we're going to see if we can find your book. But, first, congratulations on the book, by the way.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
the Verb Circus. Tell us, what is this book?
Well, yeah, it's a book where I study verbs and I break down, right? How do you say break down in Spanish? Desglosar.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Sure.
I break down verbs according to the individual uses, and we study the most important verbs in English through reading and translation and lots of exercises to practice and develop agility using the most essential verbs and grammar in the English language.
Sure. And it's called The Verb Circus, Los Verbos Esenciales del Inglés. Now, if you can't find it at your library, because it's a popular one, it's probably someone's got it out on loan.
Yeah.
You can probably pick it up at any fine bookstore, as I said, at Baugan.
You can find it at most main bookstores now, it seems. Yeah.
All right. Well, will you take a walk with me? Let's see if we can find it here in this particular library. Now, let me ask you this, Kyle. When was the last time you were in a library? Do you remember?
It's been certainly, I have to say, a few months.
A few months.
I haven't been in a library for a few months.
Okay. Do you remember the last one you went to, where it was? Or?
I think the last time I went to the library was when I was in Canada.
Okay.
Visiting, and I went to a library to check out a book.
Okay.
To check out. So you take the book. You have to return it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you're borrowing it, really.
You're borrowing the book. Yeah. So just like anything else, you borrow. You borrow it from someone, and then you have to give it back,
or else you'll get a fine.
Or else you get a fine, and that's no fun.
I don't want to get a fine. It's not fine to get a fine.
No,
it's definitely not fine.
But you hear these stories sometimes of books being returned, 10
years,
50 years or 10 years later, and the library forgets and everybody forgets. And I suppose there's some point, after a certain point, they just say, we're not going to get that
It's
back.
a lost cause.
Yeah.
Un caso perdido. I remember. I have some of my earliest memories are in the library. I remember at school, we were learning about the Dewey Decimal System, and we learned about, the different kinds of book, biographies, autobiographies, more documentary stuff. So you've got so many different romance novels out there. Now, what's your favorite genre when you like to cuddle up or snuggle up on the couch with a blanket and a good book? What are some of your favorite authors or a favorite genre of yours?
To be honest, I find myself, I studied business, and I find it interesting to read sometimes books that comment on business trends or, trends or things happening in the business world, or kind of maybe economics, but economics tied in with political themes and world themes and people who are making predictions about future trends and things like
Sure,
that.
yeah.
And
I read The Economist.
There
They
you
don't, I mean,
go.
they don't have a book;
Yeah.
it's a magazine, but there are
Yeah.
many,
Mhm.
many interesting books written.
Exactly. So that sort of stuff I like to read, something that I feel where I'm really learning, you know?
Well, there are some books that are indispensable as far as business is concerned. You've got
Yeah.
Certainly some Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. You got some of these books that are
Mhm.
like basically a standard. The Tipping Point
Yeah.
by Malcolm
sure.
Gladwell,
That's
which
right, I've
teaches
read
you,
that one.
you know, how ideas. What's the difference between an idea that sticks, that works, an idea that doesn't? You know, what's a really big genre these days? Self-help books.
Absolutely.
These books that help
Self-help.
people deal with their problems, their emotions. There's a big market for that these days.
That's right.
You know,
That's right.
And then
Self-help books.
and you've got these chicken soup books, chicken soup for the soul.
Yep.
Right. Chicken soup is como el remedio, the remedy for the soul. So have you ever, I read one of these, I read The Secret, which was pretty interesting. It was about the law of attraction. You attract you're like a magnet. So if you put out negative energy, you're going to attract negative people around you.
Right. Right.
Interesting concept. But reading is great because it takes you to another place. Do you have a favorite novel?
All right, folks, we'll be right back with much more, so stick around. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back, Show with No Namers. Thank you so much for joining us today and every day. I always say, without you, there is no show. The show is for you, with you, right? And that's awesome. It's great to have a connection with all kinds of different people like yourselves, from all walks of life, todas condiciones sociales, all parts of the globe. I mean, it's a blessing. Hallelujah. Hey, I'm half joking, but I'm not joking. I'm serious. Okay, I'm joking with the sound effect, but you know, what a blessing, bendición, that we can all get together and learn from each other. And speaking of getting together, I hope you'll join us at our first Vaughn Radio Trivia Night of 2025. 2026. Sigo en el pasado, eh? Me has pillado. 2026, that's right. It's hosted by your buddy, my buddy, our buddy Fitz, the host of No Excuses. And again, that is at 8 p.m. February 3rd. It's Tuesday, February 3rd. Less than a week away. So we hope to see you there. I'm going to be there. Tons of other friends, people who work at Vaughn, people who don't work at Vaughn, students. It's going to be a great one. There's no doubt about it. And it's a free event. It's an opportunity to meet people with similar interests. And also, of course, practice your English and learn some useless trivia. ¿Quién compuso tal? I don't know. Well, it doesn't have to be useless. I say useless in a joking, in a tongue-in-cheek way, en una forma irónica. You never know. ¿Cuál es el país con más lagos? You didn't know you needed to know it, pero ya que lo sabes, no pierdes nada, right? And obviously, it depends on the trivia master, how hard or easy it is. Or, because mine, for example, anybody who's ever been to my trivia nights, they're all really pop culture based. I like geography too, and history, but I go for pop culture. I guess, you know, it's kind of like the Show with No Name too, because then I can do things that are happening, you know, things that are in, things that are trendy, things that are the latest craze. And we looked at that word yesterday. Craze is not crazy. Okay, the latest craze, la última moda. Crazy, my cat, Kike. It's true. He's out of his mind. All right. In fact, I asked my wife, because I've never been a cat owner, you know, in my life. I've always had dogs. And, you know, so I asked my wife, who's had many cats, and I say, you know, are all cats like this? Are all cats this crazy, you know, this needy? And that was the biggest surprise. Mira, esta es un buen adjetivo, needy. Needy is someone que siempre necesita necesita que le hagas caso, right? Needy. Dependiente, demandante. Think about it in the sense of a relationship, right? People sometimes break up with people. Man, she was too needy. No me de, siempre me dependiendo de mí. So you're always needing something, correct? So needy, great word. I love that word. And my cat, man. And my wife said, no, normally cats do their own thing, because that's the impression I was under. I was under the impression that cats, they kind of ignore you, and, they do their own thing. And when they want you to feed them or change their litter box, they come up and, hey, you got work to do over here, buddy. But this guy, oh my God. But I love him. I love him to pieces, como decimos. I love him to bits. Dos formas de decir, me flipa, le quiero muchísimo. All right, let's see. Now we've got a lot of stuff to cover, so let me focus here for 1 second, because you know me, I go off on tangents. It's what I do. All right, I hope you enjoyed the audio for today's pop quiz. Again, Kyle Miller, I think that was probably 10 years ago. So that was us 10 years ago. So it's not really us now. It's like going in a time machine listening to those audios. And it's interesting because at the same time, you're thinking, wow, that's cool that I chose Kyle to work on the episode on libraries, as somebody who loves to read, as somebody who has written books. At that time, he had just written The Verb Circus, which is another one of his books. And many of you know also he has the business English book that you can pick up at Von Tienda. But today we're looking at something from English Everywhere, one of my books, 40 different situations. And these are situations that from, getting on a train to going to the library to going out to dinner, anything like that, even legal stuff, which I hope, as I always say, with that kind of vocabulary, I hope you don't find yourself in a situation where you have to use legalese, no términos legales, because that means, right? But it's good to know. It's good to know this stuff. All right, so here's what I want from you guys in our pop quiz today. The first one is the word multa or multar. You can use it however you want. And I'm sure each and every one of us can think of a time cuando te han dado una multa o casi te dan una multa. Or, hey, use it. Again, the best thing you can do when you're using some vocabulary is personalize it. So, ¿cómo usarías tú la palabra multar? A lo mejor te encanta cuando multan al tío que aparca delante de tu vado, right? So again, use it however it makes sense to you. But the word is multa, and it's not only in the library. Think of, parking, there are other multas that you can get as well. All right? It's an ugly word in English, in Spanish, but in English, it also is a nice word. It means genial, bien. So this is a strange one. I even made that joke in the audio. So it is a double trouble. That's the first word. The second one, well, as we were in the library, I was saying, Kyle, we got to be quiet. Now, be quiet is no estate quieto. Stay still is, or be still or stay still is estate quieto. No te muevas. But be quiet is calla. Now, I know many of you know the word shut up. Right? So that's what I want there. I want you to give me a synonym for be quiet or shut up. Now, be quiet is less rude than shut up. You can give me anyone. I'll let you guys know. Give me a synonym for shut up or be quiet, because I know you know those two. You should know those two. And then what I'll tell you when we look at your comments is if it's informal, formal, vulgar, right? Very insult. That's up to you guys. Because, of course, you can always say STFU. Go ahead, ask me. Alberto, what does STFU stand for? Shut fuck up. Shut the fuck up. STFU. Si alguien te lo pone, no es tu amigo. Bueno, también eso puede venir a significar calla, no me jodas. Right? That kind of reaction of you're in shock by what you just heard. Pero otra vez, el tono te va a decir todo en esa situación. So that's why it's always good to just pay attention as a general rule in life. All right, so the first one, una multa. The second one, a synonym for be quiet or shut up. Again, you can be more rude, or you can go the polite route. That's up to you. And the last one, Kyle gave us the word desglosar. I want you to use that as well. Desglosar o desglosado. You can use any variation of that word. What I want to see is that if A, you know it, and B, you know how to use it correctly. All right, that's what we're looking at here in today's pop quiz. Multa, number 1. Number 2, be quiet, shut up, synonym. And number 3, desglosar, which, by the way, also means averiar. All right, so there, we got another double trouble. Oh my God, they're everywhere. All right, also, let me give you guys today's Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you right now for the second time. Again, I think it's going to be a walk in the park. Yeah, a walk in the park, pan comido. Here it is for the second time.
Well, I mean, it starts as a disconnection, right? It's a father that really hasn't ever met his daughter, comes to her as this sort of, we later understand, somewhat failed magician.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así da gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit. It's available wherever fine books are sold. You can just go over to the internet and punch in This Book is the Shit. And I don't think too many other things will come up first. It's the good thing about having quite an original title. All right, let's go on over here and see what's going on. We've got a lot of people participating. Let's warm up with some other vocabulary that is book related, relacionado con los libros. All right, let's see. Estante. How would we say that one? El libro está en el estante. The book is on the shelf. Now be careful. We don't say book. Right? The book is on the shelf. The book. Es más cortito, no es no se extiende ese sonido vocal. The book, not book, right? Hey, these are the nuances I was talking about, right? The difference where I'm like, oh, ha dicho book un poco fuera, ¿no? Book es mucho más corto y cambia, no es tanto sino like Michael Jackson, or, like a rocker. Book. So the book is on the shelf. You can also call it a bookshelf, but it's like swimming pool. Not necessary to put the word swimming in there. It's a bit redundant if you ask me. Okay. Su libro es de tapa dura. His book is hardcover. Hardcover, we call it. De portada dura. You say tapa dura, we say portada. What about de tapa blanda? We say paperback. I'm sure you've seen the song before, the Beatles song. Paperback writer. I think that's what it's called, is it? I think it's paperback. Paperback writer. Beatles? Am I losing my mind here? Paper writer. Nope. Let me put paperback writer. Tell me I'm not losing my mind. We're going to find out in a second. Is a song by the English rock band The Beatles. Thank you. I was like, I could swear there's a song called Paperback Writer. Awesome song, by the way. So you've got that word right in there. Paperback versus hardcover. You've got the librarian. Careful, it's not libre, right? Librarian. And I've heard a lot of people too, especially novice levels, mix up a bookshop and a library. Right? In a bookshop, you buy the books. In a library, you take them out, or you borrow them, or you check them out, as Kyle said as well. Any of those. But when are they due? ¿Te sabes este? Cuando hay que devolverlos. When are they due? The rent is due. Hay que pagar el alquiler. So this is important to know. This word due. I know you know it in due too. Debido a. It's the word debido, really. Es debido tal día. Okay, it's due. When is it due? And we use it with pregnancy too. When is the baby due? Oh, next November, right? To be due. Great, you need to know it, not just in due to, debido a las circunstancias, due to the snow, but also we need to know it in that context too, because things are due. Hay que entregarlos, right? If something is due, it's the same as saying it has a deadline. You have to do it by a certain date. Another one that is a bit confusing because we have the word editorial. You know, this is an editorial piece. See, we use it a little bit different. Porque los que hacen libros y distribuyen, they distribute them. Well, those are publishers. Well, publishers sometimes have a different distributor, but that's another story. Okay. Now, you could say the book is going to be released next month, but it doesn't sound natural. What's the phrasal verb we'd use? The book is coming out next month. Okay, to come out. Lo mismo con películas. All right. Prólogo. You can call it the foreword. The foreword. That's right. Antepalabra. Makes sense. Y es un homófono para adelante. I hate to be forward. No quiero ser, to be forward with someone is ask questions, to be too much, right? To pry, fisgonear too much, pasarte de la raya. I hate to be forward, but can I write the foreword of your book? Right? Richard Vaughan wrote the foreword for this book in my hands, and I think a couple other ones as well. Another one, encyclopedia. I know you'll recognize the word in an instant if you see it, but do you know how to pronounce it? Encyclopedia. It's encyclopedia in English. Okay, diccionario, I think that one's easy enough. So really, some good vocabulary you need to know. Also, look, I've got words that are mispronounced, this U sound. Say these words with me, because I've heard a lot of people say public, right? I work in a public company. She goes to a public school. So let's say these words, porque todos van a tener el A, ese sonido A. Okay, so let's look at these. Esto viene del capítulo. If you want to follow along, this is from English Everywhere, chapter 13 at the library. Okay, it's page 111 in the book. Public. Well, it's a word that I've heard mispronounced a lot. Public. Okay, editorial. Publisher. Producto. Product. You don't know how many times I've heard product. Te lo digo miles. Te lo juro. Product manager. And then I say, no, product manager. Si vais a usar anglicismos, right? So product. Suena como Prada, como los de fashion, no? Product manager. Say it with me, because that's, again, if I tell you I've heard it a million times, it means I've heard it a million times, because I'm forgetful. So if it rings a bell, I'm like, esa sí que me suena. Okay, publisher, product manager, ultra, not ultra, ultra, ultimatum, un ultimatum, right? Productive. He's very productive. All right? All right. Well, folks, that's just a little excerpt from English Everywhere. Remember, you can pick it up at Von Tienda, at Casa del Libro. They even have it usually at Corte Inglés. So if you've got an English cut near your house, English cut. Okay. All right. Oh, also, I looked it up, folks. Remember we were saying in the audio, Kyle and I were saying la multa más grande. He said something, siempre salen estas historias. You always hear these stories about these multas. No voy a decir la palabra porque lo vais a decir vosotros ahora en los comentarios. All right, well, according to the Guinness World Records, and today this is not a wacky world record, this is a side, the largest library multa ever paid is 300, a whopping, enorme, remember, it's usually 20 cents a week or something, $345.14. And this was in 2003, a woman named Emily Canelos Sims. And now you're thinking, what, how long was it overdue? No, para practicar esta palabra que vimos. When was it due? Well, it was due 47 years earlier. 47 years. So 47 years overdue, se podría decir. And she racked up a fine of $345.14. So what happened? She just decided after 47 years, I'm going to take it back. I'm going to return it. And I'll pay the consequences. I'll pay the piper. I'll pay the multa, which we're going to look at right now. No, she found it in her mother's house. So there's actually, she wasn't an irresponsible person. In fact, quite the contrary. Our friend Emily Canelo Sims, she did the honest thing. She goes, this isn't mine. It's from the library. And so she took it over to Kewanee Public Library in Illinois. Remember, we don't say Illinois, we say Illinois. And she paid the fine. 47 years past due. And it was a book her mother took out, I guess, when she was a lot younger. So, hey, you don't have to live with doubts if you don't want to. Because we said in the audio, I wonder what the largest, I wonder what the largest library multa is. And sure enough, it came up in 1 second when I Googled it. All right, let's see who's with us here in the house. I see tons of comments today. So that's wonderful to have all our students here eager and ready to participate, to have you guys gung-ho. La palabra barrapeli que vimos ayer. Gung-ho. It's great to see that you guys are gung-ho. There's Vero, front row center. She says, good snowy morning. Beautiful show with no-namers around the universe and beyond. Long time no see. Busy days. I'm back. Great to have you back, Vero. It's always a pleasure when you join us for our English extravaganza. There's Elena. Speaking of amazing students, man, there she is. I guarantee. Look, Elena, I didn't even read your comment yet, and I can tell you, because I know you, and, I've got a good sixth sense. You're going to get a totally native in here somehow. Let's see. Morning, folks. Ahí está. Mira. Morning, folks. All geared up for the show. So let's get the ball rolling. Toma ya. All geared up. Well, gear es tu equipo. No, if you're going to go snowboarding or skiing or scuba diving, you need your gear. And if you're geared up, ¿no? Porque siempre es bueno pensar, ¿y por qué es gear? Pues si lo podemos asociar al significado de la palabra, pues it's easier to remember, right? So if you're all geared up, tengo todo el equipo, estoy listo, right? Excellent, lista en su caso. Morning, folks, all geared up. Wow, Elena, excellent. Impressing me already, huh? First comment that you'd posted, and a double totally native there. All geared up, and let's get the ball rolling. I know you say the same thing in Spanish, but it's not very often that I hear students say that in English. I've heard it in Spanish, ponemos a rodar el balón, but let's get the ball rolling. Awesome. Great stuff. Let's see. Chris Valrol, ready to rock and roll. She says, morning, guys. What's up, Chris? And she says, it's not time for catching 40 winks. No es la hora para una siestecilla. Nope. We're here with bells on. Hey, wait a second. With bells on. I think you probably wrote that comment before I said that somebody said it in the group. Chris, we are definitely on the same wavelength. That's awesome. All right, amigos, I can't believe it, but we have got to take a quick commercial break right now. We are halfway through the show, and we've got tons of stuff to cover in the second half of the show. Man, we'd better, más nos vale. We'd better, que viene de we had better, pero nunca se dice sin contraer. We'd better, ¿no? W-E apostrophe D. We'd better put the pedal to the metal in the second half, I should say. Not the fourth part, not yet. All right, folks, we'll be right back with much more, so stick around. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back, my amigos. This is, I can't believe it, the second half of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Tons of stuff to do. As we say in English, so much to do, so little time. Don't forget to listen to all the rest of our programs here on Vaughn Radio. You've got Speaking with Confidence with Ale, The Lunchtime Show with Rob Grams, Speak English with Ruby, Let's Get Random with Jules Linares, The Salad with Dave Boyce, Kyle Miller, and his program Drive Time, Chris Frank and Frankly Speaking, Richard Vaughn Live, The Pro Bow Show, The Hour to Empower with Jessica Fernandez, and the host of our upcoming Trivia Night, the show that goes right before this show. He's a hard act to follow. Nadie quiere seguirle a él porque es tan bueno. I'm talking about Fitz. Download the free Vaughn Radio app, and you can learn English with us wherever you may be on this journey called life. Hey, it's true. We'll always be with you. We'll be there to give you all the loving you need. Or I should say all the English you need. I'll be there. All right, folks, tons of stuff to do, so we're going to kick things off with a little challenge where we look at some words that have a tendency to be a bit tricky. I'm talking about today's homophones on the show with no name.
Homophones, homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, it's homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones here on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got over here for our homophones section. The first word is a fruit. No fruit, right? Fruit. Como si no estuviera la I en la palabra. It's a fruit. You say ciruela. Ciruela in Spanish, okay? My dad loves these. They're okay. Not my favorite. I mean, I'll eat one, but if I've got a choice, I'd rather have a pera or a manzana, or I love strawberries. I love all berries. And berries are good because they have a lot of antioxidants, so they say. All right, so ciruela. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this one will make you regular, right? If you're feeling constipated, estreñido, well, ciruelas. Am I right here? I'm pretty sure that's one of those. All right, well, ciruela is the first one. Again, it's a type of fruit, and I don't have to tell you that because you have really good ones here in Spain. All right, the next one is something from the construction world. Okay, well, not just construction, but plomada o plomo. Okay, si están midiendo una pared, or if they're measuring a wall or something. Now, también, y esta es la parte que yo creo que sale de la carpintería de la construcción, que es vertical, a plomo. Piénsalo, si es una plomada que lo determina, pues si está vertical, a plomo, pues significa que pues es recto, ¿ok? Vertical, recto, straight, ¿ok? It's also verticalmente como adverbio. Yeah, it's got other meanings, but bueno, también conectar. Yeah, it's conectar, and it makes sense too. Wow, this is a rich word here, that second word. I never realized how rich it was until we just looked at it. So the first word, ciruela, the second word, plomada, plomo, aplomo, vertical, verticalmente, también es conectar, ¿no? Como un suministro de algo, conectarlo a la pared. And you'll see why when we look at the word. It'll make all the sense in the world, because I can guarantee, even if you haven't seen this second word before, you've seen some variation of it. I swear. And I swear by the moon and the stars in the sky, for better or worse. All right, guys, here we go. I've got to give you our Say What soundbite. Here it is for the third time. Jot down as much as you can.
Well, I mean, it starts as a disconnection, right? It's a father that really hasn't ever met his daughter, comes to her as this sort of, we later understand, somewhat failed magician.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughan Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovon.com or give us a call 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughn Town. That's right, folks. It is Vaughn Town. All right, let's go in order here because we've got tons of comments. We still have a lot of people who've participated in the Say What soundbite. We also have people who have participated. Thankfully, again, thank you for all your efforts and keep up the great work. But we've got a lot of comments, so let's get through them. Let's go in order, and then eventually, a la larga, we will get to the homophones because I see many of you have participated. So let's pick up. Toma, dos phrasal verbs que van junto mucho. Es una frase hecha. Let's pick up where we left off. Vamos a retomar donde lo hemos dejado en cuanto a los comentarios. All right, let's see. Vero says, since Daddy passed away, I barely have time to listen to Double A because I have lots of things to do. Sorry, guys. Hey, we're the ones who are sorry to hear the tragic news. I mean, losing a parent. Let's put it this way. I can't even put myself in your shoes because thankfully, I still have both of my parents, but I know it from my wife's point of view, and it's an awful thing. It's a sad thing, and we're all with you. Let's end it on a positive note. We're all with you, supporting you, Vero. We'll be there for you. These 5 words we swear to you. That's Bon Jovi. We'll be there for you. That's what friends are for. Through good times and bad times, we'll be on your side forevermore. Vero, that's what friends are for. So I think I can speak on behalf of all of the listeners. We wish you our deepest condolences. We're sorry for your loss, and we're here for you. As I said, to end it on a positive note, we are here for you. Elena says, I'm sorry to hear that, Vero. My heart goes to you. All right, excellent. Well, you can also say, my heart goes out to you as well, ¿no? Como te mando mis sentimientos. Excellent, Elena. Great expression that you said there. Let's see. Vero says, thanks, Elena. These last 2 years have been really hard for us. He finally passed away last May 10th. Well, it's very sad because, of course, normally, too, when parents are older, their passing, su fallecimiento, is preceded by some kind of illness, sickness. I mean, we've all had it with our grandparents and dementia, all the things that go wrong with the human body after it's been around for a long time. So we are here for you, and you can count on us. Puedes contar con nosotros, Vero. And you know what? That goes for all of you. Okay? Eso va a todos. Okay? Let's see. Chris Valrol talking about our Say What soundbite. She says, I heard an American guy who talks about a relationship between a father and his daughter. At least that's what I think I heard. Well, that's exactly what happened, Chris. So, good ear. You heard right. Lo oíste bien. Good ear, amiga. All right. Let's see. Elena says, I hear an American man telling how a man tries to reach out to his daughter for the first time, I reckon. Good. Great. So it has to do with a father-daughter relationship, right? I think one of the most powerful relationships on the planet, really, a father and their daughter. I'm saying it from my own personal experience. There is no stronger bond, vínculo. Well, maybe mom, daughter. Well, it depends on every family as well. But man, I have a lot of relationships, all kinds. But that love is it's piercing. No, te penetra. It's so strong, So there you go. Great observations, Chris and Elena. Vero says, I heard an American man talking about his relationship with his daughter. Absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what's happening. He played the character. That was the father. So it's the actor talking about a little synopsis of a movie he was in, basically. talking about the character he played and what the movie is about. Okay, now it all makes sense because, of course, he's talking about someone else, but he's talking about the character he played. He portrayed. El personaje que él interpretó, you would say in Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so excellent, excellent observations. Vero says, a cat being needy? Weird. Yeah, well, that's exactly why I question it. Vero, that's my point. That's why I asked my wife, are cats really needy? I've never seen this. Oh, this guy, if I start snuggling, una palabra que oímos antes en el audio, if I start snuggling or cuddling, que es lo mismo, acurrucarse, is that how you say it? Darse mimos, with my daughter, guess who gets jealous? He comes up, and then he starts, walking all over us. He's a wild child. I think he's a spoiled brat. That's the problem. Es un niño consentido, un niño mimado. Okay. Yes. And again, it blew my mind too, Vero. I had no idea. I thought cats were independent. Not mine. Mine always wants attention. Oh, look at me. Look at me. Hey, he has like 20 different sounds he makes. He even says, are you ready for this? To my wife, mama, mama. And I'm like, did he really just say mama? This fucking guy, really? And when he starts to meow, sometimes he sounds like a crying baby. It's incredible. He's like, well, you didn't give me that. You didn't give me a treat. I swear to you, this cat thinks he's a little kid, an only child. Un niño, how do you say? Sin hermanos, an only child. All right, let's see. Vero is participating in our pop quiz. She says, I got a fine from the DGT, the traffic department, that I didn't expect. That's the worst. All right, that's right, to get a fine. I got a fine. Now, you can also use it as a verb. I was fined, multado, right? To be fined. Okay, so I was fined by them, or I got a fine from the traffic department. In the United States, we call these guys the DMV, the Department of Motor Vehicles, right? You say DGT. I'm sure in England it has a different name altogether. That's the worst, because now they've got cameras and they just take a quick snapshot of your license plate and voila, welcome. And I'm sure when you get that fine, you're not feeling fine. All right, the next one. We should stay silent during the teacher's lesson. Great. A very polite way to say it. Sure, stay silent. Be quiet. Shut up. Ya no es... No, ya ahí estás pasándote de borde ahí, right? But it's used very, very often, porque muchas veces hay de calla, por favor, So, all right, excellent. And the last one, I need to break this topic down to make it easier to understand. Perfect example. Break it, piénsalo, desglosar, romperlo en trozos, right? So if you want somebody, you're getting charged for different services, you want a broken down bill. También se puede decir itemized, ¿no? Desglosado. You don't want just, okay, 8,000 euros. And you're like, no, well, 2,000 was for the consultation, 1,000. You want it to be broken down. So you want to break down. Okay, you break down the figures. Se usa como adjetivo también, broken. Are these figures broken down? I need them broken down by this afternoon. Okay. Also, we said to break down un coche. His car broke down for the third time this week. And now I think he's going to have a nervous breakdown. Un ataque de ansiedad, a nervous breakdown. So, hey, wow, rich word there. I never realized it was such a rich word. I'm realizing things about my own language, teaching you guys, a language that I've always spoken, but I've never thought about. I've never pondered it. To ponder, como, eso es interesante. Until, of course, it became my job. And I started teaching. And then, I had this curiosity to learn etymology and find the different connections between things. As I always tell you guys, we're English explorers, really. Because student, yeah, that sounds okay. But explorer, doesn't that sound better? It sounds like there's no limit to where you can go. So that's awesome. Great job, Vero. Let's see, Elena. My soulmate Mi media naranja, great word there. My soulmate got fined for speeding last weekend. Perfecto. No la situación, el ejemplo. All right. So, yes. Speeding es, como puedes imaginarte, exceso de velocidad. The next one, she says, hey, hush, hush. Eso es otra que no es tan vulgar, no es tan fuerte. Hush. Or hush up. People are hitting the books here. La gente está estudiando aquí. People are hitting the books here. We need, and a comma, we need to break down the word and check its use. Excellent job, Vero and Elena. Let's see. Chris says, if you park there, you'll get a ticket, a fine. Excellent. The next one, she says, please, hush. Great. I can't break down the budget if you keep talking. Wow, wow. Excellent job, ladies. There's Born to Iron Man. He says, morning, friends. What's up? What's up, Born to Iron Man? Great to have you with us. As always, we really have a stellar crew today. Vaya equipo. Lots of people participating, lots of people learning in the group with us. This is amazing. Really, guys, kudos to you. No lo digo por decirlo, eh? I'm impressed. I'm really impressed. Excellent job. Also, Elena got today's Say What soundbite. Elena, what can I say except you are on fire, bringing the magic. Excellent job. And it looks perfect as well. There's Born to Iron Man participating in our pop quiz. He says, have you ever been fined for the hazard lights of your car? No, thankfully. That would be a horrible fine. Los que dicen que hay peligro, the hazard lights, right? The next one, can it? Can it? Cállate. Oh, okay, I got you. Can it? I can't stand those new traffic rules. Can it? Cállate, guárdalo. Very good. And then he says, should I break down the figures? My computer is broken down right now. Excellent job. Wow, you guys knocked it out of the park. Let's take a look at our homophone section. Elena gives us the two words correctly, ciruela and plomada, a plomo. Also, conectar, as we said. Also, Chris and Born to Iron Man and Vero. Wow, all of them say that the words sound the same. All right, let's say the words. The first word, and you got to say them with me, plum, plum. Okay, plum. Tal como lo ves. No plum, right, plum. And the second one, plum. O sea, absolutely. De hecho, un fontanero, I told you that you would recognize it. Y así ves que la B no se pronuncia. Because a plumber plums things. And to plumb is conectar al agua, right? The plumber plumbed the washing machine directly to the water supply, okay? Has visto la palabra plumber 1000 veces, pero a lo mejor no has pensado, sí, ¿y qué significa? Pues tiene sentido conectar, ¿no? Es el que conecta la tubería, the plumbing, que es fontanería, under your house for the water pipes and all of that stuff. So awesome. And also, if something is plumb, the wall needs to be plumb. Tiene que estar a plomo. So excellent job. What can I say? Really? Incredible job, folks. All right, it is time for Wacky World Records.
Wacky World Records. These are the wackiest records in the whole wide world.
All right, folks, we are going behind bars today. ¿Te suena? Entre rejas. We are going behind bars. That's right. Today, we are going to look at a wacky world record. Well, a second one We looked at the largest library fine. Well, this record is the largest prison in the world. Let's see if you can guess. Where do you think the largest prison in the world is? Now, let's separate something here too, ya que estamos. Jail es más calabozo, right? They put him in jail for the night, but the next morning he was out. If you're in prison, that means you're going to be there for a while. Okay, that would be like if we have to distinguish and tell the two words apart. All right, well, the largest prison, mega prison, as it's called, is located in El Salvador. The savior. No lo traducimos. We say El Salvador. It was inaugurated in 2023, so not too long ago, and it is designed to hold, tener, guess how many inmates? Take a guess. Adivina. Take a guess how many inmates, and an inmate is un prisionero. Okay. How many did you say? 10,000? Did you say 5,000? 40,000. 40,000 inmates fit in this prison in El Salvador. And this arguably makes it the largest single new facility by capacity in the world. Now, there are other prisons that are part of systems, but it's like a university. Si tienen varios campus, then it doesn't count. This is one place. It's called CECOT. CE, si queréis buscarlo, CECOT. Okay? And it's the Terrorism Confinement Center. Again, it's located in El Salvador. And of course, you can look at different definitions. Okay, which is the one with the most inmates? Which is the one with the most square meters of property, right? You can look at all that stuff. But this one is cited as the world's largest single prison facility with 40,000 inmates. And that's pretty crazy. I wouldn't want to go there. As we say in English, I'll take your word for it. All right, we've also got another Say What soundbite winner. Wow, the ladies are on fire today. Give it up for Elena and now Vero joining her on the podium. Folks, we have got to go to a quick commercial break. I know, I can't believe it either. Time flies when you're having fun. It's not just a cliche, it's true. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to take a really, really quick commercial break. Then when we come back, we've got many challenges up ahead. We've got the Double Trouble. We've got the Say What soundbite. We've also got Name That Movie. We've got jokes, famous birthdays. Wow. We've got to solve the Say What soundbite, which, as I said, a couple of you already got it, but we'll find out who it is as well. So we've got a lot of stuff to cover when we come back. If I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Welcome back, amigos. This is the show with no name, your interactive English show. And remember, anytime you can't make it, no worries. You can always check out this show on your favorite podcast platform. That's right. You know it, folks. In this part of the show, we're going to take a look at our double trouble. We got the Say What soundbite for the fourth time, although the ladies don't need a fourth listen. We've got Name That Movie. We're taking a look at one of the greatest movies ever today. That's right. That's the story. Morning Glory. All right, let's check it out then. As I said, we've got jokes too. Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. We got a lot of stuff to cover, folks. And we're going to fit it all in. I promise you. I mean, I did cut the spelling bee, but it's all right. It's all right. Hey, guys, the idea isn't how many sections we do. It's the quality of the content. And also, I like to give things the amount of time they deserve. You know? So sometimes I can rush through things. A lot of times I have to rush through things. Hacerlo con prisas. But it's always better to be able to do it in the right time, the time it takes. All right, so let's kick things off with our double trouble.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble only on the Show with No Name. Let's see what we've got for today's Double Trouble. As always, this is a tough one. It should give you a little trouble, hopefully not too much. All right, here we go. Él tiene madera. Envuelve los regalos rápidamente. Okay. Él tiene madera. Okay. O un don, you can say as well. Okay? Now, I'll give you a clue. We don't say it like the material madera. Okay? We don't use the same word. Okay? So, tiene madera, tiene un don. Okay? Okay? And the second part, as I said, is envuelve los regalos rápidamente. So, él tiene madera, tiene un don, coma, envuelve los regalos rápidamente. I think it's an easy one, especially for you guys. You've got a pretty high level in general. All right, that's your double trouble. All right, amigos, let's see. Also, I've got to give you the Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you right now for the fourth and final time.
Well, I mean, it starts as a disconnection, right? It's a father that really hasn't ever met his daughter, comes to her as this sort of, we later understand, somewhat failed magician.
First things first, how you machines doing? You good?
Yeah, we're good.
Good. Let's take a picture. Quick question. ¿Cómo se dice emocionar en inglés?
To emotionate.
No. Think of Michael Jackson. Una pista de audio. It's close to midnight. Something evil's lurking in the dark.
It's Thriller.
That's right. So emocionar is to
Thrill.
Eso es. And this book is the shit will thrill you. It's thrilling.
Sí, señor. This book is the shit. El inglés que no sabías que sabías. 1000 nuevas palabras para tu colección. De la mano de Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender.
Now we're talking. That's right, my amigos. You can pick up the books over at Von Tienda. All right, let's see. We have got Vero participating in our double trouble. She says he has a gift. He wraps the gifts up quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Vero. She is back with a vengeance. Como Jungla de Cristal. Die Hard 2, back with a vengeance. That's you, Vero. Wow. he has a gift. We say un regalo, right? Un don tiene madera. We also say he has a flair for something. He's good at something, right? These are all similar things. It means you do it well, right? So, yeah, I love how you say tiene madera in Spanish. He has wood. I remember the first time I heard it too. I was like, tiene madera. I was just trying to make it make sense in my head. And it just didn't. In English, I was like, what does wood have to do with anything here? And it can be a bit confusing, especially when you use a certain word in one language and you don't use it. You don't say tiene un regalo, right? We say tiene un regalo. He has a gift. You say tiene un don, right? So again, it's interesting how we express the same ideas, but in a different way. And then sometimes we use there are words that kind of overlap, que solapan, and there's our double troubles. So él tiene, toca madera. I can make it a Spanish double trouble. Toca madera, que él tiene madera y envuelve los regalos rápidamente. Knock on wood. Los británicos dicen touch wood. So he has a gift. He wraps gifts quickly. All right. Vero, let's see. Germán. There's Germán as well. He says, morning, guys. He's gifted. Yes. Es otra forma de decirlo. He wraps the gifts quickly. Perfect. Chris Valrol says he has a gift. He wraps the gifts in short order. Excellent. All right. Chris says, I missed the up. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You can say, I'm going to wrap this gift, or I'm going to wrap it up. Los dos te valen, Chris. So don't worry. Yours is perfect. It works. Excellent job, guys. All right. Él tiene madera. Envuelve los regalos rápidamente. He has a gift. He wraps gifts quickly. Well, I guess he should work at a department store then during the holidays. All right, folks, it is time to move on, though, because we've got a lot of stuff to cover. We've already heard our Say What soundbite 4 times. As I said, it has something to do with a movie, an actor talking about the premise of a movie, and a little bit about his character. So why don't we take a look at today's awesome Name That Movie. Name That Movie. Yes, that's right, folks. It is Name That Movie. And this movie, whoa, are you kidding me? The book, I haven't read the book, but the book is, I don't want to say too much. But the book, I'll give you a clue. The book is fit for a king. Ahí te digo muchísimo. All right, and you have a different name for this movie. The names are quite different. But we'll take a look at it in just a moment. Here's the synopsis, the premise of today's Name That Movie. Okay. A banker convicted of uxoricide, oh my God, that's a difficult one, forms a friendship. It's not a common word, don't worry. Forms a friendship over a quarter century with a hardened convict, while maintaining his innocence and trying to remain hopeful through simple compassion. So it's got something to do with prison over here. We're talking a lot about prison today, huh? All right, a banker convicted of uxoricide. Okay, and I'm even going to look it up. Thank God, word reference works for me too. Murder of your wife. Okay, he was convicted of murdering his wife, is how a normal person would say it. Forms a friendship, una amistad, over a quarter century, más de un cuarto de siglo, 25 years, with a hardened convict. A convict is an inmate, someone who's in prison, right? And hardened means ya están muy duros, no están suaves. Piénsalo, no, ya llevan mucho tiempo ahí, while maintaining his innocence and trying to remain hopeful, con esperanza, through simple compassion. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a winner. It is our movie queen, Chris Valrol. Awesome stuff there, Chris Valrol. It is Shawshank Redemption. In Spanish, you call it. I did know this. Thanks for the info, though, Chris. But I knew it already. You call it cadena perpetua, which means, si lo traducimos literalmente, pues eso sería life sentence, sentencia por vida. No, it makes sense. It is an amazing movie. Wow, are you kidding me? I mean, there are some movies that just never grow old. They're movies that you'll love forever. The director is Frank Darabont. It stars Tim Robbins, Morgan Freeman, and I can't believe, wow, it's an old movie. It came out in 1994. Wow. And it's based on a book by Stephen King. That's why I said fit for a king. So Shawshank is the name of the prison. The Shawshank Redemption. Shawshank Penitentiary. That's another way of saying a prison, a penitentiary. So what a movie. What an amazing movie. Let's take a look at the scene. Tommy says, I was thinking about getting my GED. Now, what is GED? GED is your general educational development. This is a test that you take to show that you can pass high school, ¿no? Que has pasado el instituto. Let me just make sure. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, the GED, as we call it, the General Educational Development, is a set of 4 exams: math, science, social studies, language arts, that proves you have a high school level. That's what I thought. So if you have your GED, let's say you dropped out of high school, dejas el instituto, your mom got sick, God forbid, whatever. And, but you want to, go back, you want to prove that, okay, I know the stuff that I need to know. That's when you get your GED. I'm sure there's a name for a similar kind of exam in Spain. And Andy says, I don't waste time with losers, Tommy. Yo no malgasto o pierdo el tiempo con perdedores. And Tommy says angrily, con mucho enfado, I ain't no goddamn loser, right? I'm not a goddamn loser, pero I ain't no. He's not supposed to speak good English. He's a prisoner. I ain't no goddamn loser, Tommy says. And Andy says, you mean that? ¿Lo dices en serio? And Tommy says, yeah. And then Andy says, seriously, you really mean that? Poniendo énfasis en de verdad. And Tommy says, yes, sir, I do. Sí, lo digo en serio. Andy says, good, because if we do this, si hacemos esto, right, breaking out. We looked at the word break down before. This is to break out. If we do this, we go all the way. No paramos a medias. Tenemos que hacerlo hasta el final. We go all the way. Nothing half-assed. Nada a medio gas. We say half-assed. Okay? And then Tommy says, the thing is, eso quiere decir, pues, pero lo único, the thing is, I don't read so good. Sería, I don't read so well. I don't read so. And Tommy says, well. And he corrects him. He says, well. And Tommy says, you don't read so well. We'll get to that. A eso llegaremos. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. What an amazing movie. If you haven't seen it in English, check it out. It is The Shawshank Redemption. All right, it's time to move on, though, because we've got much more to go. So let's get right into You're Joking.
Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar.
You're joking.
That's right, amigos. You're joking here on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got for You're Joking. I've got a couple carpentry jokes. Yeah, que tienen que ver con la carpintería. Why not? Hey, why not, folks? We were looking at madera, tener madera, right? So, and you'll need some tools if you want to break out of prison. I hope you never go in there. And we talked about plumbing as well, right? If something is, it's another construction or carpentry related word. All right. What does a carpenter do after a one-night stand? What does a carpenter do after a one-night stand? Okay, are you ready? A second night stand. No? What does a carpenter do after a one-night stand? ¿Qué hace un carpintero después de un rollo de una noche? No, una aventura de una noche. Did you get that part? And then the second part is the second night stand. All right. Well, a one-night stand, again, is it came from comedy. Estoy en una ciudad una noche y me voy. But it also has a sexual connotation, right? When he was in college, en universidad, he had a lot of one-night stands. Oh, muchos rollos de una noche. But also a nightstand is another way of saying a night table. ¿Te suena? Mesita de noche. So I have a nightstand next to my bed. No? A stand, un puesto would be a way to say it, right? So, but I know you say mesita de noche. So you can say nightstand or night table. Same, okay? So what does a carpenter do after a one-night stand? The second night stand. ¿Qué hace después de hacer una mesita de noche? Pues la segunda. ¿Qué hace después de un rollo de una noche? Speaking of my comedy, this is a one-night stand. I won't be back tomorrow with more comedy. No, I'm joking. I'll always bring a couple jokes for you. This way you can, well, learn these double meanings. All right, here we go. How did the carpenter lose his teeth? ¿Cómo perdió el carpintero sus dientes? How did the carpenter lose his teeth? He kept biting his nails. No? He kept biting his nails? Well, nails are uñas, right? And nails are clavos or púas. A nail. How did the carpenter lose all his teeth? Because he kept biting his nails. All right. We've got to move on, folks. I know you'd love to hear a million more jokes, but right now it's time for famous birthday trivia.
1, 2, 3. Famous birthdays for you. Famous birthdays for me. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. Oi, oi, oi. Birthdays for him. Famous birthdays for her. Famous birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
That's right, folks. Here it is. It's famous birthdays. Number 1. She will remember you. She will remember you. I think that's her number 1 hit, but she's got so many different songs out there from her albums. Mirror Ball, that was one of her very famous albums. She is Canadian, a Canadian singer, songwriter, pianist, and producer. As of 2015, which was 10 years ago, at that point, she had sold over 40 million albums worldwide. I've got to be honest, I've never really listened to her music much. I do know that song, but don't judge it by me. Judge it by the amount of people that listen to her music and have bought her albums. Number 2, this director and producer, born in the USA, was born today in 1959. And, well, he has directed A Nightmare on Elm Street 3. No, that was as a screenwriter. Perdóname. Como guionista. Nightmare on Elm Street 3. The Blob. The Fly 2. And as a director, well, you might recognize him from a lot of Stephen King adaptations, such as The Shawshank Redemption, The Green Mile, The Mist. All of those were novels that were adapted by Stephen King, well, and other people as well, a team of people usually. And this guy was the chosen director. And I said his name as well. He's also directed a couple episodes of Stranger Things, although I stopped watching that show when it got too strange. Well, that's the irony, isn't it? No es ironía eso. And last but not least, this guy tiene madera. He's got a gift for acting, but also his last name is Madera. Yeah. So you see where all the carpentry stuff came from, and plum, and yes, there's a method to my madness, as you know. So his last name is Madera. He's an American actor. He was in Back to the Future Part 2, but he only had a minor role in that. But you might know him from The Good Son. And I think the most famous thing is Frodo Baggins in the Lord of the Rings trilogy, which I have never seen. All right, we've got a winner. Give it up for Chris Varol. Number 1, Sarah McLachlan. I will remember you. It is a beautiful song. Sarah McLachlan from Canada, Kyle's paisana. Let's see, Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont, who is the director of The Shawshank Redemption, which we looked at today, among other really good movies, too. The Green Mile is a great movie. I've never seen The Mist, but that's another movie that he directed, written by Stephen King, originally the novella, and that one is called The Mist. The Mist. La Niebla. Yeah, I think that would be the best translation. I don't know if that's how they translated it, but that would be the translation of the word mist. And last but not least, I hope you didn't miss it. It wasn't missed. It's Elijah Wood. No? How do you say that in Spanish? Elija? Elija la que quieras. Elijah Wood. And this is him in our Say What soundbite. This is him talking about a movie that he was in called Bookworm. Hey, we were looking at library vocabulary before too. Bookworm, Ratón de Biblioteca. And he's telling you what the movie's about. He says, she goes, tell us about the connection between you and your daughter in the movie. The actor. And he goes, well, I mean, it starts as a disconnection, right? Realmente no estamos conectados. A father that really has never met his daughter. Realmente no ha conocido a su hija. And he comes to her, y le llega, right? He comes to her as this sort of, we later understand, somewhat failed magician. O sea, es un mago que es un fracaso, que ha fracasado. So he's, again, telling the premise of the movie Bookworm, a movie that he stars in. All right, here we go. Your Say What soundbite. Great job, by the way, to everybody who got it.
Well, I mean, it starts as a disconnection, right? It's a father that really hasn't ever met his daughter, comes to her as this sort of, we later understand, somewhat failed magician.
All right, folks, excellent job. What can I say? You guys knocked it out of the park once again. So much participation. I also urge you all to participate in our speaking challenge, our question of the week. So do that if you haven't done it yet. And I know many of you haven't yet. Don't put it off. No lo aplaces. Tell us how you politely get out of a conversation that you don't want to be in. You can send that to my email address. It's aalonso@grupovon.com. And we're going to say goodbye with birthday girl Sarah McLachlan's hit. I think her number 1 hit, I Will Remember You. Will you remember me? Well, I don't want it to rain any more than it has this month, so I'll let Sarah continue from here. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. Ciao for now.